spent a bit too much. People be like, oh that's boring, it's just neutrals. It's like, you know what? I really want them. She's huge, isn't she? Well, for the price point. Ooh, these eyeshadows can blend. Do it. Hi, it's Charlotte, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So for today's video, I wanted to do my top 10 eyeshadow palettes. I did my top 10 highlighters earlier in the summer and I really enjoyed it. I just think it's really nice seeing other people's top 10 makeup picks, as it'll just like inspire other people if they're looking for a certain new product and they want to know what other people's favourites are. So yeah, I'm just gonna crack on with this video. If you're new, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really hot in this jumper with these lights, but at the same time I didn't want to be cold. By the way, also I'm really sorry if my throat's croaky. I'm a little bit ill. I have a bit of a sore throat and a bit of a cough, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So, oh my god, I sound so croaky. So in my highlighters video, I basically tried to go through my highlighters based on like which ones I got first in order. So I'm gonna try and do that with this video as well. Just try to ignore my voice. So I'm pretty sure my first eyeshadow palette that I ever got that is in my top 10 is my original Naked palette. I feel like no one talks about this anymore, and if they do, it's like decluttering it or saying, oh that's old, get rid of it. I still love this makeup palette. I've used it in many videos and it's just still to this day my favourite. If I'm like going out or doing more of a smoky eye, I will definitely hands down go to this palette. I just love that it's so neutral. I do really want the new Reloaded one as well. I think that looks really pretty also. But yeah, I just think this is so nice. This is my only Urban Decay palette, but I've always found this just to blend so nicely. I love all the eyeshadows in here. I never have an issue with them. If you like your smoky neutral eyeshadows, I would still get this if they still sell it. Oh my god. That would be really bad if they don't sell it anymore, do they? My second palette in my top 10 is when I discovered the brand Too Faced. I was sort of starting to discover high-end makeup brands, and I have a feeling I saw Zoella use this palette. But it's the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. Honestly, I think this is my most used palette. This is the palette that I take if I really want to take minimum makeup because it's just so small and compact. I really want the new packaging for this because this is really like, it's like a tin. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But the shades are absolutely beautiful, especially like these two middle shades, Push Up and Honey Pot. They are beautiful. Yeah. Too Faced was definitely for a long time like the brand that I wanted everything from. I still to this day love this palette. Right, next up, so I've got two palettes here, which I got at the same time. It's when I went to New York. It was the first time I went to America. Best believe I had a big old wish list. I definitely did my research before I went. I was searching all American YouTubers, what makeup I should get if I go there. I bought a lot of makeup. One of the palettes that it was like top of the list was the Tarte in Bloom. Tarte is obviously like a really popular brand in the US, and then especially these palettes. I think they have another palette, but I didn't hear very good reviews on it. It was like the purpley one, but the Tarte in Bloom, however, one of the shades is cracked. Luckily it's one I don't use too much, and it's this palette, which again, similar to the Too Faced one. If I just want a simple palette to take with me to do neutral looks, I will take this, and it smells like chocolate. That is not why I bought it. Yeah, I got this in Sephora in the US. I just love this palette and I will keep this forever. Well, that's probably not a good idea, but yes, it is beautiful. They blend beautifully. If you have the chance to go to the US, and you are in the UK obviously, definitely get this. I imagine if you're in the US you do own this, so I love this palette. On the same occasion in Sephora, I also got the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. This was the point where like the Sweet Peach collections were getting a little bit crazy. We did actually have this in the UK, so I don't really know why I bought it in America. I was obviously feeling spendy. I definitely started my peach phase, and my peach phase kind of is still going. I think it's a bit on pause for the autumn and winter. yeah, this palette smells so good as well. Too Faced to get the scents on point. But again, this palette is just beautiful. Probably out of my top 10, one of my least used, but it's still in my top 10 because every time I do use it, I just think it's beautiful. Blends wonderfully. There's so many nice neutral shades to pick from. At the same time, we've got a bit of a more of a range in here. I feel like with most of these palettes, they are just neutral, so there are a couple of palettes with some bits of colour in, and yeah, especially if I'm going for a peachy eye, I love this palette. Funnily enough actually, I've never owned the chocolate bar palette, or else that would probably be in this video, but I guess because I bought this one, I didn't feel the need for the chocolate bar palette, but I mean, let me know. Around this point, it starts to get a little bit hazy which ones I bought first. So for my 5th palette, I've got the KathleenLights Dream Street palette. I've heard about Colourpop a long time ago. I think KathleenLights, when I started watching her, I became obsessed with Colourpop, and I've done many orders over the years. I just love Kathleen herself. Like, she inspires makeup products that I want to buy, but I also just love her. So every time she comes out with a Colourpop collab, I really want it. I haven't always managed to get it, but I've done my best. This Dream Street collection, I got these and the 3 lipsticks, and her newest collection, actually her 2 newest collections, I really want as well. I'm sort of waiting. I think I'm going to do like a big Colourpop haul next year and do like a full face of Colourpop or something. This palette is beaut. I think she came out with another one, like a Zodiac one, which wasn't really up my street. However, this palette I just think is beautiful. There's a couple of shades that I don't really use, like these 2 greens. I think she just wanted like a little pop of colour in there, but I personally would not use those. These shimmer shades are beautiful. I've used these in like the inner corner. I haven't actually tried many Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. I guess I've just, you know, unless it's a collab, I'm not drawn to them. I definitely do want to try some more after using this one. I feel like this next palette, I think this is the next one that I got, and it's definitely the cheapest of the bunch. This is the Revolution Reloaded Neutrals 2 palette, which I've used in a video. I think I used it in my first makeup video on this channel. This is definitely if I'm doing more of a glam makeup look. I don't wear this on an everyday basis, simply just because they're quite bold pinks and reds. When I'm feeling my pinks and reds, which I often do, if I'm going on a night out or, you know, a special occasion, then I will definitely lean towards this. And Revolution eyeshadows are really good. Ooh, that was loud. Perform super well. I don't find them to be patchy at all, and I think this was literally like £4, so bargain. Next up is another Colourpop palette, and this is when Zoella came out with her collection. So this is the palette. How beautiful. I'm also obsessed with the blush at the moment. Not that you needed to know that. Again, similar to the Colourpop one, I'm pretty much in love with all of it. The only one I'm not probably ever going to use is this blue, but apart from that, all of these shades are so lovely. I especially like Sunny Side Up Maple Syrup. Is so lovely in the crease. And yeah, I really love this palette as well. I think it's just a really cute palette, and it's really like thin, so I feel like this is easy to travel with as well. I need to get more Colourpop eyeshadow palettes because I've been loving both of these, so I need more. So this next one, I had a Beautybay voucher, I think. I had like a £20 Beautybay voucher, so I was like, oh, I'll treat myself. So I got the Laura Lee Nudie Patootie palette, which I really wanted. I wasn't too fussed about the other palette she came out with, but this one I just thought was so bridal. I don't know, I just thought it looked beautiful. It looks like this. I love all of the shades in this palette for once, which is a first. I mean, some people wouldn't like that. People would be like, oh, that's boring, it's just neutrals. But this is what I love, and it's what most people love. This is so nice. Again, so this isn't a palette I use a lot. I feel like this is more of an occasional palette. I don't know if that's silly. So pretty. My 8th and 9th palette that I'm showing are of the same collection. I did a video on this, but it is the Revolution Rachel Leary palette, and I'm saying both of these are my top 10 because I just think they're both so good, and I just think this is... I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. I mean, there's only so many things I can say to describe. It was funny because when she came out with her palettes, my first impression when I saw her release the palettes, I immediately was like, oh no, they're not for me. Like immediately I was like, nah, I'm not gonna get them. And I was like, I just kept looking back at them like, what? Why am I not sure? And then I was like, one day I was like, you know what? I really want them. I don't know what it was. Yeah, I just think these are beautiful. They are sort of, they're neutral eyeshadows, but they're also not. I think these shimmers along the bottom are just so pretty. I also love the face powders as well. Good job, Rachel, because that palette is beat. And then I'm also going to talk about the slightly larger one. Maybe not the one you travel with. Woo! She's huge, isn't she? I like that there's so many neutral eyeshadows, and she has got pops of colour, but they're like cute pops of colour, like pops of colour that I would maybe play around with in the summer. I just think the whole palette is so visually pleasing. Again, I love the face powders as well. Well, for the price point, ooh, I did want to include some drugstore palettes in this top 10. Finally, for my 10th and possibly current favourite palette. I feel like you know it's new when it's still in the plastic packaging. Does anyone else have that? I find it really hard to part with plastic packaging. It took a lot of courage to buy this palette, to spend the money on this palette. I think I had a similar thing with this palette. My first instinct was like, oh, it's a bit ashy for me. It's not a very warm palette. Immediately I was like, no, not for me. It grew on me, and I was like, but it kind of is the perfect palette for me. Alright, I'm going to show you the palette. You'll see what I mean by ashy. I don't mean that in a bad way. That sounds bad, doesn't it? I mean cool toned. If you sort of look at like these lilacs and purples and pinks, they're not warm pinks, they are cool pinks. Would usually turn me away. This palette is just beautiful. This is my favourite palette at the moment. I'm a little bit obsessed with it, and you'd hope so with the price point, but I am, sadly. I love it. It blends beautifully, like so beautifully. And I was doing my video testing this out. You know, most eyeshadows can blend well, but I was like, these eyeshadows can blend. You know, I said it in the video and I'll say it again. If you're contemplating this palette, just go do it. Bite the bullet. Take the stick. That's my TED talk. So there we go, that is the end of my top 10 eyeshadow palettes. This is obviously just my opinion. You might not like some of these, you might not want some of these, but that's okay. I really hope this video helped you maybe pick out a new palette or maybe inspire you for your next purchase. Please let me know down below which one of these palettes is your favourite. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up down below, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!